Welcome to the Life Groups and Life Missions Leadership Podcast. We're honored that you chose to spend just a few minutes of your week with us. We hope that today's content will bring value to you as a leader and as a follower of Christ.
So keeping with the vein of what we've been talking about on the weekends, Pastor Craig has relationships.
Yeah.
And what we've been talking about really with all of you and on this podcast has been span of care. One of the things Donnie and I started to question was and ask ourselves is what's something that really hits home with people when it's leadership driven? What are some of the practices that we put into place? And there are many, but one of the ones that we really wanted to talk about that we really haven't covered very much is curiosity and what curiosity looks like when you have leaders or people in your life group who you're caring for. So what does curiosity and leadership to you, Donnie, mean?
I think what curiosity does most is it helps us posture ourselves in a place that is away from arrogance, right? Nobody likes an arrogant leader, somebody who thinks they know it all. I know I've been there and I've done that. Early in my leadership, first when I was in the military, I thought I knew it all. But of course, when you're 23, you know everything. And that was the case for me. And I led from a very arrogant posture. And it didn't help me build the relationships that I hoped to build. And when I started implementing curiosity into my leadership, the equity I earned in those relationships changed dramatically. Yeah. And not only did the relationships get better, but I got better as a leader. And as a result of me getting better as a leader, the people who I led got better. I love what Pastor Craig says. When the leader gets better, everybody gets better.
That's very true. And as you're talking about that, I'm thinking of servant leadership, because leadership is about influence, and true leadership is all about serving, because Christ himself came to earth to serve and not be served.
Right.
And he modeled curiosity, even though he was God in human form. He was both equally God and God and human. He knew everything, but he still modeled curiosity when speaking to his disciples. One of the questions he was asked by his disciples was, "Are you the Messiah?" And instead of answering them, because he could simply say, "Yeah, of course I am." He actually asked a question and was like, "Well, who do you say I am?"
Right.
So in leadership, the way that this could look for community leaders, for you as life group leaders, is simply just asking, seeing where your life group leaders or community leaders or your attenders are at. Like, where are they? We see people in a way like they should be there, like way down the field, right? Step 5 or 6, and we want to get them there. But the best thing that we can do is come alongside with curiosity, figure out where they are and how we can best serve them.
Yep. And some of the things that we do, and I know I've felt the pressure of this in a leader, especially in ministry, is having all of the right answers. And the thing that curiosity cures in that is it cures this thought that we've got to have it all together and we've got to know exactly what the next step is. When we start asking the right questions, we can help people identify what their next step is. And if, Chad, you're bought in to your next step, you're so much more likely to take that step than if I offered that step to you. Yeah. And my job as a leader is to be able to come alongside you and support you in what you believe God is calling you to. And that frees us up so much as leaders to be able to lead well and lead with passion, because we're helping people live out what God has called them to and pull out of them what God has placed inside of them.
Yep. So I have this leadership blog that I subscribe to called Leadership Freak. It's amazing. I learned a lot of my leadership from there. And recently they had a short, just little quote that said, "If you are not practicing blank, then you're not improving." And I kind of changed it to, if you're not practicing or modeling, because as leaders we're always modeling blank, then you're not improving. And so our challenge to you guys is to practice and model curiosity with those who you lead. So again, if you're a community leader, reach out to one of your life group leaders and ask how you can be praying for them, just one. And then if you're a life group leader, reach out to someone that attends your life group and ask the same thing. How can I be praying for you? And see where the conversation goes. They're going to allow you into things that are going on in your life that you may not know about, but just seeking to serve and be curious where they're at in their relationship with Christ, or just work, or with those in their family, means the world to them.
And here's the thing, when we implement prayer into those relationships, we invite Christ into the relationship, and then he does what only he can do. And that's when things get exciting. And we want to be able to hear from you guys what God is doing in your lives, in your life groups. So email us, text us, grab us on the weekend. We would love to be able to celebrate with you what God is doing in your life. But until we see you guys this weekend, remember, whoever finds God
Finds life.
Sunburst, lighting up the sky.